Welcome, welcome. Today, I'm going to be discussing the two surviving roommates. The information about these two roommates is also very, very limited. We do know that they were on the first floor and they arrived sooner than everybody else. They arrived at around 1 a.m. In the morning. So with this limited bit of information, we have to again try to make sense of this. It was reported that they had woken up later on the day of the 13th and called friends over to the house, and then 911 was called at around 11:58 to report an unconscious person. One of the roommates' phone were used to call 911, and then there were several people apparently who had talked to the dispatcher. So initially you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Initially, when I was trying to digest this, I could understand these are college students. They were, up late partying. They sleep until noon. That I could definitely understand. And if they didn't hear anything, they live in a party house. I mean, it is a party house, and people come and go. So I bet they get in the habit of maybe wearing earbuds or some sort of noise cancellation. As well as they could have just been really, tired and just passed out. So I understood that part of it. What I didn't understand was, from all accounts, this was a horrific bloodbath. And so if they saw this, then why would you call friends over? That made no sense to me. I mean, you'd call 911, you'd get the hell out of the house. So that didn't make any sense to me. And then calling it an unconscious person. And so part of me was like, a lot of this might be being lost in translation, and this might just be dispatch lingo. We obviously don't know what exactly was said because they're not releasing the 911 call. And just like with a lot of other details, the police are trying to, keep this as quiet as possible, which is probably a good thing. So naturally, there's a lot of questions. Where were the girls that night? Were they alone, or did they maybe have boyfriends over? Were they sleeping in the same room or a different room? Is it true that Murphy was with them or not? Were their doors locked? And then there was even mention that the front door was wide open. So there's a lot of questions here. One theory that made it make a lot more sense to me was, say, Zaina and Ethan, and even the girls upstairs on the third floor, maybe their doors were closed and locked. And so the girls couldn't actually get into the room to see what had happened, but there were signs of something that kind of made them concerned. Maybe that's why instead of calling police, they called their friends over to be like, what is this? What do you think? Or whatever. And so that kind of made sense to me, if that was the case. And maybe, who knows, if there was an alarm or something going off in one of the rooms. And so they were knocking on the door and nobody was answering. And so that's why it maybe was reported as an unconscious person. But then another source had come out in defense of the girls, saying that I guess they must have been at the house, like outside, maybe, witnesses, where the girls had actually gotten up, gone into the kitchen, and seen that the sliding glass door on the second floor was open. And in that time, then they actually saw Ethan. And the girls were hysterical, ran out of the house, which is exactly what I would do. Ran out of the house, and one actually was starting to dial 911 but fainted. And the neighbors or the passerbys were actually trying to help them. So that's why there were maybe multiple people talking when they were reporting this to dispatch. And so they're talking about, you know, one of the roommates that had fainted being unconscious, and then the other roommate was hysterically trying to explain, no, something's wrong with Ethan. And at that time, more people started accumulating, and people who knew, you know, these all of them, Ethan and the roommates and stuff. And so when they realized something was wrong with Ethan, a couple of, oh, I don't know how many, but from the sounds of it, a few of those people actually went into the house to go find him. And I guess some people that were at the scene in the yard with the girls and everything, they actually reached out to Ethan's brother, who goes to college there as well as one of the victim's boyfriends, and saying, you know, something horrible has happened. And so they were called. So by the time the paramedics showed up, it was this frantic, chaotic scene. First of all, they're expecting to deal with a unconscious person, but in fact, it was way more horrific. So again, this story makes a lot of sense to me. In my opinion, they did act very appropriately. I do think that these girls will be able to provide a lot of information. If they saw or heard anything suspicious, they know the people, you know, going in and out. They know about whatever kind of drama is going on. The tricky part is going to be how the police are able to get this information from them, because they are, I can only imagine, traumatized. So even though they were spared, they're going to, you know, their lives are completely changed. And it's going to be a long recovery because they're victims as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please be careful and have a great day.